everybody's doing well. So this is Crystal Rose Guidance, and I'm Holly. And I'm going to bring some message about what you need to know. Okay, so in these readings, please keep in mind this is about what you need to know. And sometimes what we need to know isn't necessarily what we want to hear. Now, with that being said, also please use your own discernment in these readings. When you're going to listen to a general tarot reading here on YouTube, you really need to keep in mind that these are actually general and that you're not the only one that may resonate with this story. So if I get a few hitters here and there of different messages that come through, I'll try to bring that through for whoever needs to hear that. But overall, I'm basically taking one scenario and applying it to a bigger amount of people. So not everything's going to fit to the story. Please use your own discernment and what you feel like is meant for you and what's not. And if it's not meant for you, know that it's just there for someone else. Okay? So please keep that in mind. Any general reading that you're listening to, please keep that in mind. Okay, so this is supposed to help you, to guide you with your own intuition. So you should already be in a state of mind to where you either agree in a way or at least are open to the reading. But if it's definitely something that makes you very upset in any kind of way, then please simply click off. You're just not meant to either hear this message. It may not even be for you. And we can find similar situations in our life in these messages that we're taking on in a different form or a different way that can be very triggering for us. And so that's not what these are for. These are meant to be helpful, but that only works if you utilize the control that you have in understanding when a reading is for you and when it's not. Okay? So that's my long gist to that. That being said, I didn't plan on going all into that, but there you are. I've been gone for a while. I've been doing sitting on a lot of stuff, and that was one of the things I guess I needed to express. So that's that. So this is the Wild Offering Oracles, and I'm going to pick 3 different cards. I'm only doing 3 piles. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Okay. So let's take a look and see what we have. Pile 1, self-sufficiency. The ultimate self-sufficiency is relying on God. Now, if you don't, depending on what you believe in, please, insert that here. But it doesn't mean hiding in a cave and saying, I don't need people. Instead, it's saying, God is my source, and I am willing to receive all the help, love, and support that He wants for me. Okay. Pile 2, you'll have gratitude. Find just one thing that you feel grateful for right now and let that gratitude pour over your body. It's a healing balm like the warmth of the sun. Okay. Pile 3, you'll have enjoyment. Striving and pushing makes life into endless hard work. The more you're inviting love to take over, the more enjoyment comes. Allow me to enjoy this life, dear Lord. Okay. Okay, guys. So with that being said, timestamps for everything will be down below, and I will see you at your pile. Hey, pile 1. So if you chose self-sufficiency, now this talks about, let's just read it because some of y'all don't watch the intro anyway. The ultimate self-sufficiency is relying on God. It doesn't mean that hiding in a cave and saying, I don't need people. Instead, it's saying, God is my source, and I am willing to receive all the help, love, and support that wants to come. So if, depending on what higher source that you believe in, please insert there, right? But this is this understanding about having faith, and I feel like having faith in knowing that perhaps you're not having to do everything on your own, and I feel like that takes a lot of understanding, to be able to be in a position to where you feel like you're on your own or you have to do things on your own, but then yet you really have that human nature about you where you need others, and so I really feel like that is what Source is for. It's to be there for you in that particular time when you feel like you're having to do things on your own or you feel alone, because collectively all of us have been in those moments or certain moments in our life. We just may not know each other. So on an energetic level, it's understanding that you aren't alone, Okay. Oh, this reading is going to be different, I can tell, because I haven't been here in so long. This is probably the longest break I think I've taken in a long time. And every time that happens and I come back to it, it's like everything's just been sitting there waiting to be said. You know what I mean? Okay. The answer oracles. What does pile 1 need to know at this time? Please keep in mind this is what you need to know. This isn't what you may want to hear, but also keep in mind at the beginning of this reading, I actually went all into how I feel about all of that. So that might be, some of y'all may need to go listen to it. I talk about what these readings are for. Okay, pile 1. What do they need to know? What do they need to know for pile 1? You have the koi. Persevere, good fortune, yin yang, and ambition. It's funny because that's what this becoming self-sufficient has to do with a lot of these things. Pisces energies here. Comply. Yeah, there are some things in our life that no matter how self-sufficient we are, we still somehow or another need others or rely on others in some way. Care. Remembering to take care of yourself. Remembering that the best way that you can support yourself in identifying what your needs are is the same way that you can help point that out for others. So with my kids, I've learned this a lot. I've learned that if I can't tell my kids to tell me what they need if they don't know what they need. Do you know what I mean? And I think about also showing them what that means. I have to be able to teach them how to express when you actually need help, when you actually need something. And so I try to show them that so that they know that if they ever get into a place of feeling, like they have to do everything on their own or they're feeling this way, that they're able to express that need that they have, because that's very important. Lesson. You have health here. So really taking care of yourself is also something that's here. I didn't think about that when this came out. Not forgetting to take care of yourself and the process of this, There are unwritten rules is something that's really big here, because it's there are some unwritten rules about whenever you are persevering, when you're trying to go towards good fortune, when you're being ambitious about something. There are some unwritten rules about that, right? And a lot of it has to do with remembering to take care of yourself, remembering to express when you need something or when you need that support. When we're in a place to where we're going towards something here, then we get into a place to where that's all we can sometimes see. And especially when you're someone that you feel as if you have to do everything on your own, you get into that place of, that's a really, really hard place to be, when you feel like you literally can't rely on anyone else. And I know at times we are actually alone, and we don't have someone to go to in some kind of way. But that's what I was trying to explain with this card in the beginning. The thing is that you wouldn't believe how many people are out there that are around us that we don't actually connect with, that do understand, and that can even be there for you in some sort of way, especially now, with the way social media is. But that you have to kind of weed through the individuals and that's why it's so important to be in tune with your intuition. You have to know when someone's giving you the right kind of advice for you, or the right kind of help for you. And when they can't, or when they don't, or when you know that they're not going to, you have to be able to understand who you are and what it is that you need. I think that's a big part of this. And I think for a lot of you, you may need some kind of assistance or support here in order to maybe even get to this place where you can focus on your own self, can focus on your health. And for some of you, this may even be very physical, you know. For some of you, this could just be mental. Terrific here is at the bottom of the deck. So terrific results, greatness, and great moments. And it's funny too, because when you are in this place of being ambitious or persevering, sometimes it's those great moments that kind of pass us by because we're so focused. So there's different types of things that can happen in your life that you're meant to experience that you kind of fly past, you know? So being in the present is also very important. That in itself can bring in those moments of feeling like you aren't alone, feeling like you don't have to do it all on your own, is when you have those, you know, even if it's just a friendly exchange with someone that you can relate with, even if it's someone that you cross paths with and there's even the short interaction there where it brings you some sense of greatness and humanity, you know, that kind of feeling of not being alone. There's benefits to all that, but if you're so focused in, then you're not seeing the unwritten rule about these things, then it can really push further away the fantastic result, you know, feel the greatness of the path that you're on. So sorry guys, I had to pause just for a second. Look at that, 2 5s in a first turnover. I feel like that this, for some of you, is something that's kind of hard to comprehend or adjust to because you have, just this feeling of when you've been in a place too where you feel like that you don't need people, you know, like this card says, or you can do it on your own, you know, or instead of relying on anyone or anything else. And this feels like the 5 of Swords here. Also, a crow could be significant. That's been showing up a lot in my readings. And you know what's funny about that? My life is just crazy. You know what's funny about that is that crow's been showing up so much in my readings, and even a friend of mine had mentioned something about a crow. And so I went and looked them up finally. And I already knew, like, a crow, what it kind of represents. But now, about a crow itself, though. So a crow they're very family oriented, which is crazy, right? Like, they fly away from home and then they'll go back to check on their elderly parents. Isn't that crazy? And then they can also help raise their younger siblings. And they also interact with humans. So they can trust humans, and they'll remember you as well. If they trust you, and they'll bring you gifts. You know, crows will actually bring you gifts if they trust you, which is crazy. So that could have a lot to do with all of this. I don't know what, but something to do with whatever I said. But these 5s represent change, you know, a change that needs to be had. That 5 of Cups in reverse is talking about moving on from something. So really, I know you're fixated on this, you don't need others, you know, or you can do stuff on your own. If you're fixated on that, there's this understanding here of there's a reason that you feel so prone to that need to do that. And where does that come from? You know, this thing is going crazy. I'm going to have to move it. That could be a part of this and what's keeping you kind of blocked here from being able to extend yourself in some way, so that you can get what it is that you're needing. Look, 5 of Pentacles. This may have to do with this is such a lack mentality too, you know, and also 555 here. So this is a realization that you're having, is needing to address, like, why do you feel this profound need of this? Some of you, this may have to do with finances, like feeling like you never have enough, or feeling like even if that has to do with yourself, like feeling like you're never enough, you know, or you don't have what you need. This is because of something that is in you that was developed as an understanding of what you have early on, and it's just kind of been stuck with you. And that's where you see your strength. And yes, you are strong there, and being able to do things on your own, but it's also important and takes immense amount of strength to understand when you do need to reach out, because like I said, for some of us, that's the hardest thing to do. Not Nine of Wands in reverse. I mean, you have to really be down to the very bottom of things before you can reach out to someone else. And you're not going to like this as a trigger, but there's a sense of pride that's there, and there's a reason why you feel like you need that pride, why you need to be prideful in some way. And it comes from a place of needing to prove yourself. And that is the seed of where this blockage is. You know what I mean? So tell me about that. Tell me about that. That this is a breakthrough. You know, there's another nine of Swords in the reverse as a breakthrough. You know, this is a breakthrough, and it comes from a place of where you've really been having probably some sleepless nights or some anxiety or stress. You know, it comes from, like I said, when you hit that point. This is a pattern for you too. You know, you have to get to that point before you extend yourself in some way or get what you need in some way. Is this through like expression? What is this? King of Pentacles. There's that I laugh kind of, but that's Capricorn. It's the big daddy of the tarot. So it's just like that pridefulness is obviously there. You know, if he wasn't if he wasn't proud, he probably wouldn't be in the same position that he is. I'm not saying that that's a negative thing, right? But everything involves some sense of balance in order for it to be beneficial. Look at that. Knight of Pentacles. Being determined, you know, you got it. You got the determination and the willpower. But what about this care here? Yeah, Hermit in reverse. Funny. This card talks about being in a cave. There's the 9 too, in reverse. You're right there at the end of breaking free of a cycle. This is this opportunity. So you've went through a cycle here, and this is, in this multiple probably times, this is the time for you to break through onto the next understanding, so you can close this out, this blockage out from this true greatness or great moments here. What's under that? Fusion, alignment, openness, harmonize, and collaboration. So the Hermit in reverse, which is Virgo, it's coming out of that, it's such a strong, too, logical way of seeing something, you know. That's hurting you, just seeing something in such a black and white way, or what the need of something has to be, or that urge and need to do something on your own. You see, the Hermit here is when she goes within to try to find the answers, or to try to reach a goal, or to try to do whatever it is, and that focus is what we talked about before. When you go within to search for that and you gain it, again, if it's not in a balanced way, you can end up, it can be what hurts you as well, you know. So that's where you're sitting at. Wise health here. Some of y'all may have a father wound here as well. I hate to just throw that out there. Wonder what that's about. Well, we'll see. Tell me about health. Look at that, King of Cups. Scorpio energy. See all the blue that's here too? There's something to do with communication and expressing your emotions. The King of Cups, and he's perfectly balanced in his emotional self, so he's capable of expressing especially things that he needs, because he knows his emotions. He knows what he needs emotionally. You can't do everything in this world non-emotional. You know, you have to be able to learn and know how to express your emotions and your needs. That's how you take care of yourself, and that can be well on, you know, for the rest of your life. It's going to be for the rest of your life at some point in your life. So if you can find that King of Cups, that balanced place emotionally, if you can get to this place, that shows more strength than being a King of Pentacles. Does that make sense? Also, there's a need to focus on this too, because that Nine of Swords we saw earlier is still kind of in this energy. So there's a need to kind of focus on this balance, especially for a lot of y'all, as far as your mental health goes, to focus on that. Some of y'all, this has to do with maybe sleep deprivation as well. Maybe you're having a hard time staying. It's so important. It's so important, so important to get that balanced place to sleep. It affects your health tremendously. So if you're getting not enough, or if you're getting too much, it's again, there's a balanced place there. Some of y'all, this is like a call for you to find that routine, or find that, it's different for everybody what that is. Some of us do carry more energy, I feel like, than others. But there's that in between, you know, that's there, finding that balance. Okay, tell me something else. Yeah, we saw that before. When I was shuffling, that was one of the first cards I saw. The Three of Pentacles. So this is that focus that I was talking about, though, staying devoted or committed to that Three of Pentacles. For some of y'all, this can be work, but this represents growing something, right? Growing something to hold on to, growing something that's valuable to you in a King of Pentacles energy. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles. The World. So this may have to do with community here for some of y'all, not everybody, but something to do with community. And there's also something here about distance or family. There's something else that's there too. I'm picking up on, like, okay, but anyway. You know, it's funny in this card. Look at the way that since she's down here, she looks like she's looking up at him. You have this light energy that's here, you know, with all the pentacles up to him, but he's got his back turned. So does Comply. They have their back turned. Unwritten rules. What is this about endings? Tell me something. What is that about? I'm not going to be able to move on from that. What is it? Runner. Look. I just got done pointing out all the people have their back turned. And that's all you see in this card, is this guy running away. That's what he's doing there. So with World, the world is ending things and moving on from things. Unwritten rules. You may tend to have a hard time with waiting, or like if something, I'm trying to think of any way I can say this, but the way that I know it might be triggering for some of you, but I don't know if I can, so I'm just going to say it. It feels like running away from things. You know, when things get to a place to where maybe they start to get difficult with rules and laws, you know, these are things that you can't necessarily always change, or if you try, it's something that could be difficult, you know. Like there's certain things in place that you have to follow. And for some of you, you don't want to kind of follow the rules, I guess. That's a bad way to say that, but something to do with that, like and when it comes to leveling up, you know, when it comes to getting to that next phase, there's this need to, or tendency to kind of run away and kind of just focus on yourself, or just do it on your own, or it's just like, you know, it comes from a place of not the situation, but more so of you and your ability to kind of sit with that energy and not wanting to. Like, you just don't want to have to. This would be like just avoiding conflicts and things like that. You know what's so funny is recently I've also, like, when I spend time away, I learn a lot. But recently I was also thinking about this. You know, it's crazy how we've been in that era of like just cutting people off, right? Just cutting people out and cutting people off, and anybody, you know, that brings us any kind of negativity, there's such I don't feel like it's been fully addressed, but it's getting to be in a toxic way, I feel like, because for some, because the whole point in life, I feel, as far as learning, is a lot through love. And you don't necessarily show your love to someone the most in the times that are happy and go lucky and fun and adventurous and all this. You show your love to someone in the times that aren't that way. And I know that has been a very hard lesson for me in my life. But that's when you really kind of show up for yourself even. How you show up for yourself. If you can't learn to be that way with others, if you can't learn to like show up in a way like that with others, then it's going to be hard for you to show up for yourself in that way. So if you learn to like just cut everybody out of your life that's bringing any kind of negative influence, it has to do with you seeing people for who they are and where they are and where you are, and not that you're higher above anybody, that this life is very different for all of us, and so you're in a different understanding of what you've experienced and where you are in your life, and you just have to be able to connect with people on their levels of that, whatever that is. Sometimes you may be up here, sometimes you may feel down here. I think we've all been through things in our life where we think one thing about it, and then later on in life we look at it a different way. So we're all experiencing that in tons of different ways. So if you're in a connection with somebody, you have to be able to discern, is something worth wiping your hands clean of, right? And that depends on too how many opportunities that you've given to someone, how many times, because again, you have to learn to take care of yourself as well. So if you have other people here and you have yourself here, then you have to learn when to be able to, sorry, that's such a distraction. Can y'all hear that banging in my backyard? I don't know what it is, but it's not my backyard, but I don't know what that is. Anyway, it's my neighbor. But you have to be able to understand when, okay, I'm here in the middle and I can give, and I need to also give to myself, and then I can give and I need to also give to myself. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, you end up like this hermit here. So some of y'all in situations kind of run away. Or you may also, it can be on the flip side, and you can be the one that chooses people that do that. And there's also something that needs to be addressed in that spot too. You may choose people that you feel like you have to convince to be with you, or at some point you feel like that person, like everybody always runs away in some kind of way. There is a wound that's there too. This reading is like really speaking to us today. So you have the Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Swords that just flew out of the deck. I mean, there's your tens right there. The world would be also that completion. From what I've just said, with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse and that Ten of Swords, it's like something not going the way that you wanted it to go, or when something's not going the way that you want it to go, then that 10 Swords is there, and she has her back turned. You just move on to something else, or you've chosen people that do that to you. So y'all insert yourselves where you need to be in that scenario, okay? Where's where you feel like you are anyway? Where's the Hermit in reverse? You have the Two of Wands. I'm really curious to what in the heck? Sorry, George. Oh. I don't know what he's doing over there, guys. I'm sorry. Short pause. Okay, so sorry. My son came in. Took off with the tarot deck. Just took it off with me. What were we talking about here? Dang it. Sorry, guys. He's homesick today, so. Okay, so the Two of Wands and the Hermit in reverse. We talked about, some of y'all, something to do with that. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Something to do with a opportunity or moving in a direction or moving. What does that have to do with? And it has to do with being a teachable moment for some of y'all. The Four of Swords in the reverse. Again, that's the same energy. This is like a lower level of it, but that's the same. It holds that hermity energy. This is something about your emotions. What does this have to do with? This is traveling, planning, moving, going in a direction. And it has to do with a teachable moment, or has to do with support or care from someone or towards something that would give you that. And this is a lot of overthinking that's going on. So what's the Four of Swords in reverse? Strength in reverse. Finding the strength, finding the courage, you know what it entails is there's that prideful energy we saw before. So what is the kryptonite of that pride would be being able to be vulnerable. There's so much strength in vulnerability, and I feel like a lot of people don't really understand how significant it is, vulnerability. Being in a vulnerable level with others, that's really what brings the light, I feel like, is being able to connect with others where most of us feel alone. But it takes vulnerability in order to do that. You know, a lot of people, that's why they don't like, unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people don't like therapy because of that. Some of us tend to not like most of our family members because of that, because they know you of who you once were and who you are now, and they've seen you grow in a certain way. And it never fails that family will give us the best advice sometimes, not always. Sometimes they'll give us the best advice about ourselves that we can't even see in ourselves. And it's very triggering. Our family members, they'll trigger the hell out of you. But if you can see where there's something there, you know, of why someone's saying something or acting a certain way or whatever, if you have the vulnerability to look at yourself like that, that's strength, because it will make you a better person. It will make you a stronger person, which is really, I feel like, where you're going, which is really kind of where pride should come from. But anyway, tell me more about what that, well, do I need to know about that? Yeah, why is it such, you see the hearts here? Why is it such a difficult thing here? Vulnerability. The Ace of Pentacles. The opportunity. An opportunity that leaves you vulnerable, or being open, you know? Why is that difficult? Hold on, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. Just a second. Two of Swords. Because you can't see what it's going to come out to. That's why. There's a fear of being vulnerable here because you can't see what the future of it would be. She's blindfolded making this decision. You have the two crows there. So it's just like, it comes back to your card here. You know, God is my source, and I am willing to receive all the help, support, and love that wants to come. But not knowing what being vulnerable and having this opportunity, what's going to come out of it, is what keeps you kind of in this place of not wanting to, plan or move towards it in some way, not wanting to reach for that care. This is fear, you know. It causes a lot of this anxiety that's here at the Four of Swords and the Hermit. Causes a lot of insecurities as well to be exposed. What about that? Yeah, the Knight of Wands in reverse. This could be where you make impulsive decisions, foolish decisions. You wait too long for something and then you're kind of willy-nilly with it, you know. Well, what's the healing part of that? Would be the Page of Swords. Taking it, learning as you go, and learning it something is a lesson. You see the two birds here again. Yeah, because it's the very opposite. She's blinded and then she's holding the light with the book. And she's very balanced here, you know, walking across here. It's not about, see, she can't see where she's going either, but it's not because she's blinded. It's not because she has something on her. It's because she has her head in the book. She's acknowledging what you've learned and what you've experienced. That's how she gets to where she's going. It doesn't have to do with seeing. That's part of this. This doesn't have to do with you being able to see what's going to happen. It has to do with being in the moment and using this as a learning experience, or using this to learn something else about yourself. That's what it has to do with. That's what I feel like. That's kind of like what life does is it helps us to grow into a place of where we can be vulnerable, you know, where we can understand ourselves more and more and more. So instead of being afraid of making a decision, we know ourselves and we know how we're going to approach the future from that decision, however it goes. That comes from knowing yourself, knowing that you're capable. Why is King of Cups here with health? You have a Knight of Cups in reverse. Needing to balance yourself out here when it comes to your emotions. When it comes to, this is a worry, I feel like. This is also a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are going through my head right now. This Knight of Cups in reverse, this is when you kind of use your ability to, okay, I don't know how to say this. If you use your ability to fall into certain things, I don't know how to explain this. Hold on. Let me get one more and it might help me because there's a lot of different things that are here. I'm trying to put it all into one kind of, this affects you a lot of different areas of your life, right? But romantically, your feelings are a bit scattered. And this is a need to call or need to balance that out. I feel like in order to get to that place, this is a process that has to take place first. Queen of Swords in reverse. This may be somebody that you are having a conversation with, or somebody that you're having to deal with in some way that's causing you mental disruption, you know, and it could be from a romantic situation with that Knight of Cups in reverse. Why the Knight of Cups in reverse though? Some of y'all may have a opportunity for something here, or you may be giving an opportunity, that's what we saw here, to someone else. There's something to do with the health of a relationship that's here, that's causing some mental, I don't think it's just one relationship though. With that Knight of Cups in reverse, this could be multiple relationships. The Ace of Swords. I mean the Ace of Wands. There's the Two of Wands, so there's the Ace of Wands. Why the Queen of Swords in reverse? The Six of Swords. This is getting to a calmer place here with somebody. You have Libra and Scorpio energy. This can be like a romantic relationship that starts off wrong or goes wrong in some way with that Ace of Wands. Tell me about that. The Seven of Cups in reverse. Making the wrong choice. Being emotionally set that something didn't go the right way or you made the wrong choice in a situation is where this stability here emotionally lies, either with you or someone else, or maybe both of you even. With this King and Queen of Swords here, what's the energy between? This Queen of Swords here is attached to the Six of Swords, so that means like getting to a calmer place. Travel is also something that could be here, or moving, going your separate ways, or getting to a calmer place, but someone moving away too. There's something to do with a red flag. One of the red flags here for you may have been when someone moved away or you had to move away. Can you give me any more information about what this Queen of Swords is in reverse? This is a storyline here, so it's attached to the way that you feel. It's attached to what's going on with you, you know, in some way. It's affecting you. A High Priestess in reverse, Pisces. Something coming out, either breaking your silence or something coming out into the open. What is that? That someone here may be upset about. This could even be you. You're upset about it. With that Queen of Swords in reverse, so it's someone that's like you see a different side to someone for sure, right? Oh. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Something coming out here about someone. Something may have came out about someone that someone else found out. I'm going to let y'all take this how you want it, because I feel a bunch of different kinds of scenarios like all in my head at one time. But there's two queens here and there's a King of Cups here. with the Knight of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Seven of Cups. Somebody had options. Somebody had choices here. Somebody may have made the wrong choice, or there was some kind of emotional confusion, perhaps about what you want. There could be that now. But this is like a need to get to a balanced place with someone or something. And there's a secret that came out, or this is like breaking your silence. I think it's a secret that came out or something like that. About a Queen of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And that's what's making this like Queen of Swords in reverse. So I don't know if this is you or somebody else, but this is a upset energy, right? She's got a sword. She can use it. When she's in reverse, she's mad at you, and she'll use it to cut deep. You know, it's that kind of thing. What is that about? What is that about? What is this? Hold on. I got an idea. Let's use this. We're going to use the Love Oracles. I want to see if I can narrow this down a little bit. It just said mystery. Tell me about what this is over here with this Queen of Swords in reverse. Player. Oh, that's a Seven of Cups and that Knight of Cups in reverse. Something caught up with somebody maybe here. Tell me more about that Seven of Cups in reverse, the Ace of Wands. New love. What's the Queen of Pentacles in reverse? Actually, what's the High Priestess in reverse? Party. It's almost like the truth came out here about someone or something. And there's something to do with some kind of celebration. I don't know if this is at a celebration or event or something, or I don't know what this was about, but so the truth came out here about someone being manipulative or like a karmic charming, you know, player in some kind of way. There's an upset energy around this. And then there's this King of Cups that's here with this Knight of Cups in reverse, with the Ace of Wands and the Seven of Cups with new love. So what is that about? What's the Ace? So what's this Knight of Cups in the reverse about? We're going into a whole nother direction. Fear. This could be being afraid of someone else having other options, choosing something else. What does this have to do with like a rejection? Look, that fated meeting just popped out. Does this have to do with someone in a... What is the King of Cups here with health? Storm warning. We saw 555 in the beginning of your reading. Upheaval, obstacle, wrecking ball, and drama. This could be like, yeah, some drama going on over here in your life in some way, pertaining to someone else. What's this Ace of Wands, though, with health? Like, what is that about? Well, it's new love. That's what that is. Fear. What is fear, though? Divine timing is at the bottom. Like, waiting or stalemate, wrong time, perfect timing. It's like, this feels like you're afraid, or somebody's afraid of someone else moving on or meeting someone new. Okay, so where are you at here with this, though? Judgment, making a judgment call. Making a judgment call. Or facing judgment, whichever side you're on, I guess, you know? Tell me about that, Scorpio energy. Ooh, the wind just went crazy. Yeah, Temperance. Trying to be happy with the call that you're making, or trying to face the judgment could be part of this in order to like balance a situation out with Temperance, Sagittarius energy. It's about compromise and finding that balance, you know, between like what we've been talking about in your reading, actually. I really feel like all of this is a higher lesson from here. What can you expect from the other... What can you expect from this situation, I guess? The Star. Look at all this major. It's crazy. The Star is hope. Like, there's hope here. Or that brings us back to your card. Being willing to accept help, love, and support that wants to come. So the star is a representation of healing. So is temperance. I feel like this is a situation that can be healed. Aquarius energy too. Aquarius, Sagittarius, and Scorpio. Anything else you want to tell me about that situation? The Five of Cups in reverse is moving on. So this could be a situation that can be healed, but then you can move on from it emotionally, because I feel like that's really causing some anxiety in your energy. More about that. The Five of Swords. Yeah, this is moving on from the conflict. Okay, so that's the possibilities here of at least you can move on from the mental conflict, because there's your 10 right there, and that would be that completion that you're looking for. Okay, so what can you expect moving forward? Just in general. Well, that's not what I wanted. The Three of Swords. What is that about? The Four of Wands. Oh, okay, I get it. The Two of Cups. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Because, I mean, look at it. You have all your, like, this is crazy to me because you have pain, and then this is about a celebration of coming together. This is unity. And then you have the Two of Cups, which is a relationship. So it's almost like you're going to be met with some pain. You met with some heartbreak before you get to the commitment or partnership, or before you get to this unity or understanding here. Tell me about the Three of Swords. The Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, well, that's part of the work. That's part of the work. Unfortunately, I talked about that in the very beginning of your reading about cutting people off and all that other thing that I went into, whatever it was. The Four of Wands. And let me just say, because everybody's going to make a comment about that, but that feels triggered. But there are some people in your life that do need that, you know. So again, you have to use your own discernment there. But I just feel like some of us are just so quick to it, you know. Now, why is the Four of Wands here? Such a good lesson in all that. But it takes two people, you know. One can't do it on their own. You have to discern that. Anyway, the Nine of Pentacles is here. So this is an independent energy. This is feeling really satisfied and feeling really good about where things are. So that's a great energy to be in. Why is the Two of Cups here? The Tower in reverse. This is a wake-up call. This is a realization. You get to understand, learn, and see something about a relationship or a partnership or just connections that you didn't see before because of the healing that's here, because of the love that's here. You learn something about connections. That's part of the breakthrough that we were talking about. Give me one more for that Tower, Scorpio energy with the Tower. The Fool in reverse. This is understanding that you don't have to go from blind faith. This is that understanding that it's okay sometimes not to see how things are going to work out, because this works out. So when something like this, you overcome from a place of being vulnerable, or you're putting yourself out there and you get and receive the joy from it, the great moments, the terrific here, you know, the greatness from it, then it makes you understand that that's something that is needed, you know, is being able to be vulnerable, and it makes you want to be. So then you're not taking leaps here and there and everywhere just off of blind faith, but you're doing it from a place of understanding yourself, and when you need to be vulnerable, you better understand yourself. You make better choices in your life that way, you know. You get further that way, which is the whole point. This is, you know, Spirit's trying to help you here. It sucks, but I mean, to me, it's always been, at least in my life, is I learned the most through the hardest things. You have the Moon here. Yeah, the hardest things are what you can't see. The Moon is about the shadow, you know, and too, the shadow within yourself. And this is pointing out a lot of things here for you that can really help you And this is a whole nother thing. Tell me about the two, well, I just did that kind of. You choose something off of not knowing what the outcome will be, but you're choosing it because you're choosing to be strong and be vulnerable and do what you need to do in order to get yourself to a better place. You need to do it, you know, and by stepping up and doing it, you actually see great result from it, which I'm so glad, you know, that we're not seeing the opposite here. Tell me about the Eight of Pentacles. You have Eight of Wands. This has to do with some kind of back and forth communication. When you see the Eight of Wands and the Three of Swords, this is like working at a resolution, right? The Four of Wands, but it takes a lot of words. I mean, this is about having a lot of communication back and forth, but it is beneficial. You can, yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes a good old disagreement, you know, to get on the same page of something, but it's all about like how you work yourself through it, not running away from it, or shutting down, but how you can kind of work through it. That's what grows things. It's kind of like the forest comes back greener, you know. You have a Six of Wands. That's about success and recognition. And you have the Hierophant in reverse there. That's when you feel like you're breaking the rules, right? When you feel like you're getting away at life. When you feel like you can overcome things. The bigger the obstacle, the better you feel on the other side of it. You know, that's part of this. It's an internal thing. And you also have the Page of Wands here. There's also... Oh, I don't want to have to talk about that. Can I opt out for that? I don't want to say that. Hold on. This situation makes you recognize some other areas in your life. I don't know if I want to go down that road, but there's something here you're going to change your mind about. It's like you've been sitting and waiting for something for too long, or expecting something to happen or something like that. And because of all of this, it's like you're going to switch and change your mind up about that. You may even have to express that to someone else as well. Like you feel good enough that you can work something out in another area of your life or balance a situation out. But there's this, somebody that may be dependent on you in some way. There's something to do with expressing yourself to that person. This is somebody that may not necessarily, like you're not telling somebody what they want to hear kind of thing. So that's just a obstacle. Tell me about that. Unexpected. That's what this is. Not being prepared or ready for something is something else that's here. Feeling like you're not. But being honest about that. Because there's a hard lesson behind that. Or a long lesson behind that. The Hierophant, Taurus. You have Libra and Taurus there too. You have between the lines. Yeah, it has a hidden meaning behind all that. That you can't see right now. There's a higher purpose to whatever this is that I'm talking about. That not everybody will resonate with. But there's a higher purpose to something here that was unexpected that you can't see right now. Divine timing. You will. You will. You will get it. You will understand it. But this whole thing kind of helps you recognize this. You know, like we talked about. Not being able to see the future of things, but making the best decisions as you go. And that being okay. Not letting it, you know, bring that anxiety towards you. Because you have faith in yourself. You know how you're going to handle it when you approach the situations as they go. Doing the best we can while we can. You know what I mean? Okay. Oh, mercy, guys. This reading was not anything like what I was expecting to hear. I'm glad I did it. It feels good to be back and do readings like this. I feel like tarot, a lot of it now on YouTube has gotten so toxic. And that's so unfortunate because tarot has really like been a sense of guidance for me when it comes to my intuition, you know, when it comes to understanding something. I used it, but I also rely on my family and their advice and support. I rely on other things in my life, other people in my life, and all of it, you know, is beneficial, not just, it's important not to stay fixated on one thing. Anyway, I don't know where that came from, but let's pull a postcard before I keep talking. Y'all got 2 cards. My goodness. I'm going to read both of them because this one says be fearless and this one says take flight. Okay, so let's do be fearless first. Yes, they're long. You don't have to listen, but these are always just, they sum up the reading all together, which y'all probably need because I felt like I was a little all over the place in this one. Dearest you, on Earth, humans learn about life by telling stories and creating new ones based off of shared experiences. Eventually, after repeating one often enough, it becomes your main story that you use to define yourself in the world. So to get the answers that you seek, you must get vulnerable and hear your story when you tell it. Ask, why do I tell it? Is it really true? What else can be true? Can you see the truth that spirit is in all things? Do you see how other stories overlap and intertwine? Spirit loves stories, for they are like blueprints for co-creation. So tell the one that you know to be true about you, a story about courage, gratitude, and honesty. Tell an empowered story about well-being, wisdom, and grace. You will experience your world according to the story that you tell about it. So make sure that they're stories that you're proud of. Genuinely Loving Fan Club. Well, see, I told you those though was just perfect with the reading. Okay, so take flight. Here's that bird again. This is a sparrow. Every time I say sparrow, that song, Two Sparrows in a Hurricane, which is a very old country song, by the way. Two Sparrows in a Hurricane. Is it Tanya? No, is it No, I'm not sure who sings it. Anyway, Two Sparrows in a Hurricane may resonate with y'all. Take flight. Dear you, there is always more than one side to an argument. Okay, here we go. They want to bring this up. That's funny. This was about this other part of you, yourself in the reading, and then this one's about whatever this is over here. There is always more than one side to an argument. 2 sides, if not more, to every story, and hundreds of ways to be right, be different, be at odds, and so on. Today, we suggest that instead of looking for differences, you find a meeting place of agreement and approach this experience with understanding and compassion. Seek common ground to understand how another person thinks, or how alternative path may be laid. Stay out of judgment too. Observe, discern, but accept that others have different stories, experiences, and journeys, and some people might refuse to remain open to another person's point of view. But no matter what, you've been presented with a great opportunity to explore a new way of doing things once common ground is reached. You're attracting people and situations that enrich your life and bring you wonderful things to learn. We love you so much. If that doesn't fit everything in your reading, I love y'all's reading it. It just flowed in a different way. But I want to point out something on here because I talked about this and cutting people off and all those other stuff. It does say on here to seek common ground to understand how another person thinks or how the alternative path can be laid. And then it says, some people might refuse to remain open to another person's point of view, and that's true as well, and again, that's why your discernment is so important. You have to understand when you're able to do what you need to do in the situation or go as far as you feel like you should or try, and then it's the other person that has to meet you at that level, or vice versa, somebody else is inspiring you to come to that level. It depends on the situation, and that's not always the case. Sometimes people don't want to, and sometimes people are not going to see it in your point of view or change or have compassion or anything, or there's just somebody that deep down is not the person that you need to associate with in some way. So discernment. You have to know. Only if you've had those experiences with that person, Okay, this is my older charms, but I'm gonna pick some out of the bowl for that. I just saw 3344 on the timer. which I know this reading was long because I don't know what my time is because I had to stop. Okay, let's go through the initials first. We have O-L-C-A-S-I-S-Z and J. Okay, and then you have class is right there. Do y'all see that? Some of y'all, maybe that's part of this teaching or learning or whatever, but okay. Yeah, project learning tree here. It says naturally learning and growing. So yeah, this is part of it. So that's crazy, right? You have class, teacher. Some of y'all, maybe that means something to you, or this is just like Spirit's way of saying you're not the only one in their class here. You know, there's a lot of people that experience or go through this kind of thing here. Okay. Learning and growing, always. So thanks so much, guys, for being here. Thanks for all your love and support. I definitely hope this helps. Good luck to you guys, and I hope to see you soon. Bye. Hey, pile 2. So if you chose gratitude, find just one thing that you feel grateful for right now and let that gratitude pour over through you. It's a healing balm like the warmth of the sun. Okay, so if you hear banging in the background, I apologize. That is my neighbor. I have no idea what he's doing over there, but he sure is a banging. Okay. I think he's actually banging into some of his concrete or something for some reason, so that's why it's so loud. All right, we're going to use the answer oracles to get started. I would recommend listening to the intro if you haven't. A lot of people skip over that, but I put a real long... it's not too terribly long, but I did a little bit of a rant about tarot since I've been gone, and using your discernment in the reading. And this is particularly important because we're talking about what you need to know. A lot of people want to listen to it and they want to hear what they want to hear, and that's not what these readings are about or what they're meant for. They're supposed to tell you things that you're not being able, maybe you can't see, but you know to be true, you know, connecting back with your intuition. And having that guidance or help to kind of work through that. And that's not necessarily sometimes what we want to hear. So the answer oracles. Gratitude. Tell me about gratitude for pile 2. What does this have to do about? What do they need to know? You have jealousy here. Okay. Possessiveness. Competitiveness. There we go. And dependence and paranoia. Oh, what just happened to me? Progress is here. Painting. Solo. Trust. You know what I heard in my head? Sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. Sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to help push yourself. I mean, you have to... Yeah, especially when you do have other people around you that may be somewhat insecure with whatever it is that you're growing here, or if this is an idea, or if this is something that, like, this is something that I feel like you really want to do. I think either you're in competition with others, or there are other people around that may be somewhat jealous in some kind of way about this. There could also be other people around that kind of depend on you in some sense. And even though you're kind of, you know, you are grateful for to have those people, it's also like an understanding of, you know, you being in a place to where you also have things that you want to shape and grow and do for yourself. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because it says conveying emotions. And being your own advocate is something that's here when it comes to progress. Some of you, this may have to do something with work, and there may be other people around you that you feel like are in competition with you, silent competition with you in some way. And this is like needing to stand out or wanting to speak up or do something differently, or conveying like what you feel like is a good idea, even, you know, kind of to help shape the path that you're on so that you can kind of put yourself out there. The bottom of the deck says trust, careful, support, respect, sincerity. You have guard underneath that. Yeah, in order for other people, look, you have the dog and cat. In order for other people to to trust you in some kind of way, you really need to put yourself out there and represent yourself in this leadership role. The only way to do that is to convey your emotions and ideas, right? Especially if for those of you where you have some experience, telling your experiences in your words may be really important here too. Let's get the tarot. Other people, though, being dependent on you and being around you, for some of you, may bring you some sense of anxiety. Yeah, look at that. Nine of Swords in the reverse and the King of Swords in the reverse. That's weird, right? Because all that's about is anxiety and not knowing what to do. You have the Hierophant here, not knowing what the right thing is to do about that. You have a fear of stepping on other people, or for some of you, not everybody, or you just have others that you feel like are dependent on you, or that you want to provide for in some way. There's a sense of not wanting to be selfish that's here, or maybe for some of you needing to be, you know. Maybe for some of you, you're needing to be, so that you can be this support or protect someone or others in some kind of way. It's like they're included in on this, you know. Okay, let's see what this has to do with. For others of you, this is like having to do with work and being competitive in the workplace. Others being in a place of that balance where you can still be grateful and give gratitude for the position that you're in, but you also want more. Or you give gratitude for others being supportive around you, or that you can be dependable, or they can, but you want to move on, you know, you want to go to a higher commitment here. Okay, so what is, so that you can maybe provide for others in some way. Also, wanting other people to trust you is something that's here. And for some of you, I am getting like a marriage, like wanting someone else to trust your ideas or trust the direction that you're headed in some kind of way. Okay, jealousy. This is the Muse Tarot, jealousy. The Hermit in reverse. There's that Virgo. Overthinking. So whatever where you want to go, like the direction that you're headed in, what's holding you back here is it's connected to gratitude and how you show gratitude, and that being distorted in some way. Like you're worried about not being grateful for proving or showing that you're grateful for what you have, you know, wanting more. That's a wound, and it comes from, well, I had that wound, and that came from, for me, it came from my background in religion, and feeling like if you looked out for yourself in any way, or if you did so much for yourself in some kind of way, or you had an idea or something like that you moved towards, or self-focused, then you were greedy or selfish, you know, in some sense. So to me, this is like finding that middle ground between feeling like you're doing what you need to do for the situation to help better yourself in the long run, but you're also, you know, giving to others or in the situation, or caring for others in a situation, just as the same. But that doesn't mean that other people are going to see it that way. So there's this weird like feeling of needing to protect yourself or needing to defend yourself, that's keeping you kind of blocked in your head from making progress, even if that's just what others would say. You have the Hanged Man in reverse. For some of you, this is also simply overthinking. The Hanged Man, you got some Pisces there with progress, which is a stuck energy. You know, you're not going anywhere there. Tell me about painting. The Page of Pentacles is funny because, the Page of Wands, normally you do see a lot of color, a lot of emphasis here with the Page of Wands, because it's about inspiration and desire and like being curious about something, wanting to start something new that feels good and exciting. And in reverse, it's like being anxious and worried and it taking away from the experience. And that's what we saw here. So there's this like drive or fire inside of you, but then there's also this side of you that is afraid of stepping on others' toes, or how other people will be affected, or how other people will see it in some way. I don't know. There's a lot of, I feel like, self-criticism that comes from feeling like others maybe feel like you're not being grateful and wanting more. You know what I mean? Now you have the Seven of Cups in the reverse. It is emotionally confusing. Yeah, I agree. Your mindset on this. It's like the pages, it's like the page doesn't know where to go, because you get real caught up. Have you ever went to pick something out, and you've been trying to pick out the right set of curtains for like 15 years and you still can't decide? And all the time that's wasted like in between that, because you just can't decide. To me, that's like the Seven of Cups in reverse, right? That's what it feels like. And this is like needing to kind of take control in that, in your mind and your emotions, and you do what you need to do and get what you need done, and you did the best you could with everybody else understanding this, but it's something that's there. And because if you didn't where you are right now, and you wouldn't really be able to experience in the present moment the joy that you get out of it. And if you're working on a project, you know, it could really hinder that, your talents even, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Okay, so tell me about the Hermit in reverse. The Sun. It's funny because the card, your card here mentions the sun, and it says it's a healing balm, like the warmth of the sun. It's hard because it's like there's a lot of people that are, if you're going and achieving things, or you're putting yourself out there, or you're getting things, sometimes it's even the closest people to us that have a hint of jealous over that, because that's something that they wanted in some way. You know, that's for them to heal, and you have to be able to identify when that's on them, you know, to do their healing and be happy for you, or be excited for you, or be with you, you know, with you on this, believe in you, trust you, and that's on them. But you have to be able to, okay, I'm explaining myself as best as I can in the situation, but I still feel this desire, and I feel like I did my due diligence as far as being grateful for their concern, or being grateful for what they've given, or helping me at this point, or whatever. And then, you know, and then I'm going to go on my own here. You have to be able to be comfortable with the way things sit inside of you. You're never going to be able to help everyone else feel comfortable about certain things in your life. Page of Cups in reverse. Yeah, this is where you're stuck at with maybe expressing this too. Your emotion, you know, your emotions are tied up in whatever this is. Something that you feel like you have this urge, or you need to express yourself in some way. It's there. It's like knocking at your noggin, you know. And the emotions that you feel about wanting to go for it, or wanting to go do it, or whatever it is growing because of this stuck energy. Because you're wanting to, yeah, us as natural as humans, we should be in this energy of wanting to grow, wanting to progress, you know, wanting to do more. Tell me about the Page of Wands in the reverse, Ten of Swords in the reverse. You're really worried about, like, oh, you're really hard on yourself about this. Like, what if it doesn't work out? What if it goes bad? What if it does this or that? Like, there's this fear of the inevitable, you know, and in a negative light is something that's here. But so what keeps you kind of stuck? And I don't know if that has to do with, like, you're worried that you're going to prove other people right, you know, that look down on it in some way. And if that's the case, who cares? That's a lesson that you learned that they might not, you know, so you gained some experience there that they didn't. You lived it, you know. You grow from it, you pick yourself up, and you keep moving. You wouldn't stop growing tomatoes if that's what you needed. You know, you wouldn't stop growing tomatoes just because you tried once and they didn't turn out very well. You get better as you go. So this is like, to me, this is like making something a reality and putting your feet on the ground and going for it, instead of already kind of signing yourself up for failure, which letting other people get in your head, or just thinking that it's not going to work out, and doubting yourself. Trusting yourself is what this reading has to do with, and it's tied up to gratitude. So that means gratitude is holding you back from being able to trust yourself. So it's like other people saying, well, you're not being grateful for where you are. And it's like, well, yeah, I am. I feel grateful for being here. I want, I want more. But I want to do this, or this is the way I feel. You may feel like you get the finger pointed at you a lot. Maybe by somebody in particular that may have good intentions. They feel like they're protecting you in some way, or feel like they're protecting you from yourself in some way, or yeah. It's coming from a loving place, but it's making this worse on you being able to accomplish what you want. Tell me about the Seven of Cups in the reverse with Solo. The Two of Swords in reverse, being indecisive. If I was to flip this around, it would be like making a decision and choosing that direction, even if you feel like not everybody's going to approve or everybody's going to be on board, and moving towards it, even knowing that the Sun, it may end up being a disappointment in some way, but you still have this like urge to go for it. I don't know what this is for y'all. This feels like it's work or something to do with work, or maybe going off on your own. This could also be about conveying your emotions here, about something to someone. This could be about a project that you want, an opportunity that you see, and you're bringing that, idea that you have, whatever it is, it's something like that, and doing it, leading to the Sun. So either you have the Sun is a huge opportunity, but there can be disappointments that are there. But it's like what I talked about here about getting back up. Give me some more about that, the Sun, give me some more about that with the Sun and the Hermit. So basically, this is verbatim. Like, if you could just look at these, it would just be like, yes, that's the Hermit in reverse. This is your blockage here, keeping you from your happiness or success. Is this Hermit in reverse, being in your shell, not expressing your truth. Not following your purpose, because you're getting in this place of where you're kind of in this analysis paralysis energy. You have Temperance in reverse and the Page of Swords in reverse. Yeah, this is not believing in yourself, and having to feel like you have to compromise, or you have to negotiate or you have to go about it in a way that you don't want to. It's just like you're afraid others may not see you in the right way. Some of you may feel like you're very underestimated as well. You may have a lot of criticism around you, and you feel this need to be compromisable. Is that a word? That's the only thing I can think of how to explain this with gratitude. Because it feels like you're just compromising, even if it's throwing yourself under the bus. You know what I mean? But in order to prove that you're grateful. Yes, I'm grateful for where I'm at. Yeah, I am. I should just be grateful for where I am, Even though I've got this great idea that I feel like would get me far. It keeps knocking on me. But, I am grateful for where I'm at. I'm not saying that I'm not grateful for where I'm at. I don't know. There's somebody around you that really, I feel like, or maybe it's just community or others that really kind of bully you out of this. You know what I mean? It's like, don't gaslight yourself, it's that kind of feeling. Ace of Swords is here. Yeah, this is your truth. This is also where your breakthrough lies. Understanding that can take you far. Okay, so let's see what advice they have outside of what we've already talked about. What's the best advice for this, for pile 2? It's the Six of Swords in the reverse. You need to go back to something. The Star in reverse. Go back to that dream, that goal, that wish. Some of y'all, this is something you're not in the middle of. It's something you've already kind of seen past or thought, no, it won't work, or whatever it is. This is telling you to go back to whatever that is. The Star in reverse for you. The Four of Pentacles in reverse. Give yourself give yourself more freedom. Allow yourself to explore, whatever that is. To go back there and kind of explore. Open yourself up more. Let's see. Hold on. 6 of Swords. Yeah, judgment. Make a judgment call to go back to what you were doing that filled you up or made you feel good, or make a judgment call to go back to some kind of idea or wish that you have here. Justice in reverse. Something that you feel like, again, others may see as unfair in some way, but you may... Your wishes and dreams and wants and needs and all that are very valid. And I feel like somebody hasn't validated that for you. And, you can't get other people to validate that for you. At times, you need to validate that for yourself. If you're telling yourself, we put up in dreams or this idea or whatever on the back burner, then ultimately, no matter what everybody says around you, you can only really kind of put that on yourself, because you're the one that has to follow through with what that is. And sometimes that's regardless of what others say or they see as far as it being fair or unfair. Because again, that's not coming from the greatest place. It's coming from a place of one of their insecurities or something to do with them that has nothing to do with you. I feel like I just repeated myself. Okay, let's see. Why is the 4 of Pentacles here in reverse? You have some Libra here, Scorpio, Aquarius. The Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Some of y'all already have, you've already accumulated something here at some point. You already have, you've already learned something, or you've accumulated it, or you're advanced in some way. You're already at a certain kind of position. Give me one more for that. The 2 of Pentacles. Okay, hold on, sorry, I just got tongue-tied. One of the first things I'm seeing here off of this, for some of you, this might have to do with your finances and getting in a well-balanced place financially, to see what you're able to invest into, by how much. Or for some of you, this is like cutting back in order to balance out what it is that you want to do. This just has to do with learning your lesson about something financially that could benefit you this go around, especially if this is something that you've already experienced before. This going into it, this next round is going to be different because you've learned something about prioritizing yourself. And I think for some of you, this is financial wise, or it could be energy wise, where to put your energy and when. This is really important to be able to succeed. This right here, prioritize that, is where your time goes, where your resources go. The 5 of Wands in the reverse. Yeah. And again, this is that jealousy, by the way. Don't try to juggle anybody else's emotions here either. This 5 of Wands in the reverse is agreeing to disagree. Some of you, if this is a spouse, you may have to there's some convincing here as far as showing someone that you can juggle, showing someone that you can do something. Though, something like that is going on there, but that's not everybody's story. Okay, so what can they expect moving forward if they move in this direction? The World in reverse. The Queen of Wands. That's awesome. Look at her face and the cat's face here. It's the same. So with the World and the Queen of Wands in the reverse, then you also have the 9 of Wands in reverse. Yeah. Not holding everyone else's burdens about what they feel, what they're going to feel, what they think, what they're going to think, whatever. Not holding everyone else's idea of what you should be doing or not doing on your shoulders is going to help you to be able to accomplish, feel good about what you're doing and your decision and accomplish something here. Not taking on a whole lot of stress is also something here. I don't know, this looks like whatever it is, it's in some way going to relieve you whether that's internally, relieve you stress-wise, relieve you, like it can help financially in the long run, you know, something to do with, it's going to give you some sort of relief, even if that's, I really feel like y'all been holding this in for a while, but you do find your courage, you find your strength in believing in yourself. That's important. The World in reverse. The Three of Wands in reverse. Something unexpectedly may happen here, like that you don't realize, or you just don't expect. Something here, it's like getting a second chance at something, and you didn't think that you were going to get a second chance at it, but here you are. And it makes you feel really good. This isn't a circumstance where you fake it till you make it. This isn't imposter syndrome, anything like that, okay? This is you sitting in a position to where you feel good about what you're doing. It makes you feel good. Like there's a glow up that's here from it. The Seven of Swords in the reverse is you're not going to feel like you're being anyone else. You're going to feel like this is what you're meant to be doing. It's that kind of a feeling. It feels really good. Tell me about the Nine of Wands in the reverse. You have the Ten of Wands in the reverse. So really releasing your burden here of whatever this, the struggles. There is a struggle that's here. You know, you've been struggling. I mean, we've all been struggling. You've been struggling. You know, you're at the Nine of Wands there. And it's like you figure out how to get yourself past the struggle, past the Nine of Wands, by partially releasing the things that have nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? But the other part of it is overcoming the struggles, overcoming the obstacles, not allowing yourself to get to that 10. You're going to nip it in the butt when you get to the 9, you know? The Three of Cups. So this could be a celebration, a coming together. Like for some of you, this has to do with really getting to a place to where you feel like you can invite more into your life in some way. You know, like you're not lacking in any way. It's like you get to that place where you feel good. You have this support here around you. Look at that. King of Wands. There is somebody here I do feel like you prove wrong in some way. That feels good as well. It's kind of like a graceful, hidden smirk. You know what I mean? It's like not outspoken. Obviously, it's in a graceful way of just knowing that you accomplished something that someone kind of made you feel pressure with wanting, you know? I hope that made sense. Yeah, five of Swords here in reverse. I do feel like you do overcome some sort of conflict with somebody. And it's not because you're compromising, coming together. It's because you're literally proving someone differently. That's interesting. Okay. We are going to get a postcard from Spirit to close your reading. I'm not sure how long your reading was because I think I paused. I don't remember. So remember, this all comes back to gratitude, you know, and not allowing people to use that as like a weapon against you. Whoop. Okay, they had something to say about that. With love. Okay, dear you. Check in occasionally with yourself about your motives behind actions that you plan on taking, especially when you have an end game in mind. Is the source of your motivation desire or entitlement? Maybe you're drawn to a certain path because you think that it will bring you the feeling related to the outcome that you seek, like safety or wholeness. Know that you will see a reflection in the outer world of the motive that drives you forward. Do you need a motive? Can you simply be pulled in a direction your soul calls you towards joy, discovery, growth, or adventure, participating in something compelling and meaningful without trying to define it? If you can step forward, surrendered to whatever Spirit has in store for you, you will be amazed at how things turn out. Check your motives and then hand them over to Spirit. Everybody here wants the best for you. Life loves you more than you know. See, this is what this has to do with. It's all about understanding what your motives are in a situation. And not everybody's going to understand that. And sometimes other people's insecurities and fears and wants and stuff can get in the way of that as well. But if it depends on where you sit, where you're coming from. Are you coming from a good place? You know, I think that's the most important thing here. And it's just needing to ask yourself that so that you can be your own leader. You know, sometimes we have to be our own leaders. Okay. All right, let's get some initials. Be your own advocate, you know. Now, my son's home sick today, and I'm sure he is going to want some food. Well, of course he's going to want food, but I mean, he's going to be asking me to order something. He's going to be like, ooh, I'm home. I get to order some food. Wait a second now. About to break his heart because we're just having grilled cheeses. Okay, so this is the dragon. This could be a symbol for you, needing to, with that Queen of Wands, you know, needing to really find your inner dragon here. But it's growing. You got that dragon inside of you. It's building, growing and growing. You're going to have to let it out at some point. That's funny. You also have the thread. So I do feel like there's others that depend on you in some way, or you're tied up to other things. So really understanding how you can prioritize and what that looks like, and maybe even for some of you making a plan of that, so that you have a route or a direction or something grounded that you can follow, so that you can keep that a priority, you know. You have the chameleon, so learning to adapt as you go could be part of that as well. Chameleon could also be important. You also have the H. So this is an H on a necklace. Honesty with trust here. Honesty may be really important at this, being honest to yourself, or honest about what you want here. Of course, H could also be relevant. Follow your heart. It's a green color of the heart chakra. You have the home here. You have the birdhouse. So home could be really important. Cancer energy could be important. That time frame could be important as well, which is like June, July. And no, right? June, no, it is summer, July. Anyway, I'm not going to argue with myself. I'll stop myself right there. But you have that home. So creating a home, creating that, you know, we have to create our routine as part of our security. So a home is part of your security. So creating that secure routine, or creating that secure, whatever this is that you have planned out, is part of this. Also, the home or family could also be influenced here as well. Of course, we have T, B, H. S, I, and O. Okay, so I don't know if that means anything to y'all, any of these, but that is what it is. You almost can have boss here, so I'm just saying, maybe you're being your own boss. All right, so thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all your love, support, and kindness, of course. I hope this helps. Good luck, and I hope to see you soon. Bye. Hey, pile 3. So if you chose enjoyment, this will be your reading. So it says, striving and pushing makes life into endless hard work. The more you're inviting love to take over, the more enjoyment comes. Allow me to enjoy this life, dear Lord. Okay, so whoever it is that you believe in, this is what they represent in these cards. But so we're starting with the foundation of this reading as enjoyment. And this talks about learning when you need to take a step back and how you can, you know, bring yourself enjoyment with that. So keep an open mind in these readings, please. If you want, you can go listen to the intro. I talk about what these are really for, but these are meant to bring you messages that you need to hear, that you need to know, not necessarily what you may want to hear for some of you. So please use your own discernment, okay? These aren't for everybody. All right, so this is the answer oracles. I'm going to give these a quick shuffle one more time, and then we'll get started. And then I will pull the tarot as well. All right, so what does pile 3 need to know at this time that would be best for their highest good when it comes to enjoyment? For pile 3, what do they need to know at this time? Pile 3, what do they need to know at this time that would help them? Okay, 2 cards. You have, ooh, surprise and terrific. Good things, good things. So with this being enjoyment, I feel like maybe there's something that's here, maybe you know about or you don't, that was unexpected, or there's some kind of surprise that's here, that may be beyond your imagination, it says, where you're going to experience something terrific, some kind of great moment, some kind of really good result in something. What else can you tell me? You have letter and gratitude. That's interesting. Let's do gratitude before letter. So you may get this feels very clear to me. It's kind of a little bit different than the other readings. You may, bottom of the deck is solo. So you may get some sort of gratitude or invitation or some kind of appreciation letter in some way, shape, or form. And this is something that comes in unexpectedly, but it makes you happy here with enjoyment. Okay, so let's see what this is about. We do have solo at the bottom. So this could be a core figure, somebody that really changes things for you in your life, that is unexpected, that's coming towards you. And this is kind of like a indicator here of, hey, you know, this is something to be enjoyed. So don't let endless hard work kind of take over this. You're being invited here to have more love in your life or have more enjoyment in your life. The Lovers, as I say that. And the Page of Pentacles. This could be an offer here from somebody, for some of you. This could be having to do with whatever it is that, you know, you're going to be really grateful for whatever this is. But you're going to, this is going to be something that feels really good. So this could be love for some of you. For others of you, this could have to do with something in your career or some kind of opportunity to go do something. But it's somebody, I feel, we'll see what the cards say. Somebody, I feel, that can make moves that maybe you can't make. Someone that maybe doesn't have any limits here in some kind of way. Like there's somebody here that's going to have a profound effect on your life here. This is going to come as a surprise. Let me see. The Five of Swords in the reverse. Especially if you've been in a place to where you've been really confused about what to do or where you are. Tell me about terrific. You have the Hanged Woman. So you got some Pisces there with terrific. This can be when somebody gives you a different point of view or perspective, or you're waiting for something. So let's keep going. Ooh, that just tasted like a candy, some kind of candy. Seven of Cups is here with gratitude. So having options, having opportunities, a lot of opportunities, a lot of options here. You're very thankful here for that. The Six of Cups is in reverse. This can also be where there's a little bit of confusion, emotional confusion too, with the Seven of Cups. Maybe about what to choose or what to do, but being grateful at the same time. Okay. So the Six of Cups in reverse. This is something from your past that's coming back around. Now, hold on. That may not mean that this is someone that you've already had a relationship or experience with, if this is pertaining to love. This could be somebody just from your past that you know, somebody from your childhood resurfacing or something like that. Or this could have to do with a child. This could have to do with someone that you connected with when you were younger. This is like, we're going to get more of it, but some kind of invitation that you receive or text message or something where there's some kind of history there, and some of it may not be the best of history for some of you, but let's see. Why is the Five of Swords in reverse? Ace of Wands in reverse. There's the opportunity, unexpected opportunity. For some of you, this looks like an unexpected opportunity to maybe mend some conflict, or to get to just a better place as far as, being in your head about things. Like maybe you're always in feel like you're fighting for your life over here with this octopus behind your back. And this is an unexpected opportunity that helps you to see beyond that. So tell me about the Hanged Woman with terrific. We have the Two of Pentacles. So this is an option. You have an option. You have choices here. You're going to have to think about it. Think about it. Yeah. Some of you, this invitation, this letter, leads you to a place to where you're having to kind of think about, okay, can I prioritize this? Is this what I want? How am I going to go about this? Should I do this? Should I not? With this, it could be a good result. It may not end up in a good result. It's this kind of a thing. So having to make a choice, but needing to think about it. Seven of Cups with gratitude. The Devil. Where are we going with this reading, man. He is all kinds of out there, isn't he? So Capricorn energy with the devil. And gratitude. I'm going to come back to that one. Let's see what the Six of Cups in reverse is about, and that'll probably help with that. What's the Ten of Swords? So, so something ended here, maybe in the past, or you thought that you weren't going to get some kind of opportunity here, but you do. You may have went through a completion here with that Ten of Swords, you know. This is some kind of message or something to do with past energy where there was an ending. There's some kind of attachment here, guys. If this has to do with love. Let's keep going. The Seven of Cups, being with that devil, can be like an obsessive, how do I say that with gratitude? Somebody may be very grateful or appreciative, and that might make you a little bit emotionally confused. That's just if this is someone you already are aware of. For others of you, this has to do with someone making an offer towards you, but you're worried, you're afraid of making the wrong choice. And maybe something in your past didn't work out in a similar situation. So even though this is someone coming in, either this is someone romantically coming in that y'all have put some boundaries up here with, and they're trying to take control of a situation, or this is someone that's coming around trying to give you some kind of an opportunity here, and you're nervous about it because you've had a past situation that didn't end well. So it's making you kind of look at it differently, you know. There's hesitation that's here. There's a need to contemplate. And it does initially hit you in a good way. But I think that there is definitely a big fear here around making the wrong choice. And there's emotions involved in it. Tell me about this Ace of Wands. What's their feeling? Yeah, the Moon in reverse. So something being revealed to you through this unexpected energy. Not what you were expecting either. Well, obviously. Unexpected. Genius, Holly. Genius. Anyways, this is something that you were not seeing coming, right? This is something that maybe you were seeing it coming, but not in this way. It feels very all of a sudden. And what you're hearing, I feel like, or something about the moon is unexpected. You couldn't have predicted this, beyond your imagination, that kind of thing. Yeah, the Hermit here in reverse. Someone may be breaking their silence if they are. Virgo and Pisces, Cancer energy. I almost kind of feel like you don't know how to take this. Okay, so, but I mean, you're not sad, so I don't understand that. It's a weird energy. I don't know if you know how to feel. I don't know if you know how you feel. Some of you may feel like this opportunity in some nature may be toxic in some way, or that just may be a fear. Or you see it as maybe I don't know if I'm prepared for this kind of thing. Tell me about the Hanged Woman and the Two of Pentacles. The Queen of Cups. Yeah, your emotions are here. Cancer energy with terrific. So emotionally, this makes you feel good. Whatever this opportunity is. I think you're trying to decide if you should reject this or not, though, because of the devil. Why the devil? Why the devil? You're trying to make a compassion. This is an emotional decision that you're making. For whatever reason, it's going to affect others. It has to do with love, or this is a decision that you know is going to affect you emotionally, and so you're trying to do the best you can to kind of think of every case scenario, or think of it the best you can before you proceed with making that choice. So you're going back and forth, and it's because it does bring you some sort of great moment. You know, it brings you it's something emotionally that feels good. So why is the Seven of Cups and the Devil here, though? What is this about? Oh, well, it's about this. It's about either you feeling like you don't want to be too quick in making a decision about someone or about jumping on board with something, or you're seeing someone as untrustworthy. Even though I feel like that person's bringing this gratitude, because look at him in her ear, you know, holding that apple, like that temptation is there, you know, like you're tempted to take this offer, but you're trying to be diligent when it comes to recognizing what you're taking the offer from or who you're taking it from. And there's a lot of emotional confusion around this. But why gratitude? I think this gratitude is this other person and how they're coming across. That's why it's confusing. Yeah, the world's here. So it's like, that's why this is confusing to me. Grateful, I mean, this could be closure for some of you with the world, being grateful for the closure, but it leaving you emotionally confused. And for some of you, this is like, this opportunity would involve some sort of move or big change. And it's like, that's why this is making you confused. Like, I don't want to do anything too rash or too quick. Tell me about the Ten of Swords with this past energy. The Knight of Pentacles. So in the past, something took too long or was very slow. And that was upsetting, or that brought this ending. Tell me more about that. The Nine of Pentacles. I don't know, I feel like it takes either somebody a really long time to understand like what your value is, or, and this was what was upsetting, or this is about like your resources or finances, and it took, there may have been some kind of betrayal here around that with the Ten of Swords. This is not any ending. This is a Ten of Swords. So this is a painful, this is like betrayal, stabbed in the back kind of feeling. But for others of you, I think that you may be kind of worried about this when it comes to this opportunity. If this isn't love, then this is like career or something like that. You may be somewhat worried about the other person taking advantage of a situation. And this may be a wound that you have. But this could be a opportunity, invitation, or letter of some sort. And this could include like for you to get like a second chance to have a do-over or make something better or put effort into something. You know what I mean? Okay. This is like two different directions in this reading. So let me see where this enjoyment really comes from, though. It's basically saying that something shouldn't be so hard that it keeps you from enjoying the experience, you know. So let me see why and what that is. The Chariot in reverse. Not having to carry the weight of someone else is here. Not being relied, or not having to rely, good grief, not having to rely on someone else. Doing what's for your highest good. I think that's the real challenge in this, because this is something that would help you break through some kind of limits, or this is someone that you've had some kind of boundary here with in some way. Tell me more about that. It's Cancer energy. Yeah, King of Wands. You know, like this person may not be for your highest good. And that's why this is so difficult. King of Pentacles in reverse. Because you don't feel like you can trust this person, or you feel like they're not loyal, or they take advantage of a situation, or you're afraid of that, right? And Death is here. Scorpio energy, Capricorn there. Leo. This is really hard, isn't it? Because it's like a situation that you really want, but then it's like you also want to do what's for your highest good as well. And sometimes that's really hard. When the devil's involved, of course it is, because there's attachment here, or there's a desire here, or there's a want that's here that, you know, the devil's well aware of. He's right there in her ear handing her that apple. And it puts you in this place, the Seven of Cups, where it's like, I don't know what to choose. What if it could go this way? What if it could go this way? What if it could go that way? But what if it could go this way? That's like, it just puts you in that place. Is this like a devilish temptation, or is this something different? And I need to get you some advice here on this Chariot in reverse. Ten of Pentacles. What is it that makes you feel strong, stable, and secure? And that's what you need to do. Also, protect your foundation, your peace. That's really important here too. Do only as much as you feel comfortable doing. So whatever makes you still come out of this feeling strong and capable, and protect yourself and your sense of security, or what you've grown, what you've built, or where you are. That's what you need to be focused on when it comes to doing something for your higher self. Focus on that first. King of Wands. What about this King of Wands? The Four of Wands. This is somebody that's wanting some kind of reunion, or somebody that's wanting some sort of a foundation here built with you. Tell me about the King of Pentacles in the reverse. The Sun in the reverse. But this is also like, this is a big disappointment. This is when something, like, and also you're unclear about this too, but I think this is where the fear is as well. It's like you're worried about this. I think you're worried, some of you are worried about a betrayal. I think some of you are all worried about this other person, because what you're seeing them as is potentially someone that's you can't trust, or you're worried about committing to in some way, or worried about relying on in some sense. You feel like you're just going to be disappointed. That's something that's there with the Sun, Leo energy. Yeah, and the Six of Pentacles in reverse is when you're giving more than the other person, or you feel like this wouldn't be an equal opportunity for you with Death. What if things don't change? Because this could actually be something that sets you backwards a good bit. So what is the advice? for the third time. Page of Cups in the reverse. And the Seven of Wands. Protect your energy is definitely something that's here. Also, don't let someone else like overshadow you in some way. Make sure that you're expressing what you need to express here, or your concerns, and then do your best to judge what you get from that. Yeah, the Knight of Swords in reverse. I feel like whoever you're dealing with here or working with, this is somebody that's going to show their true side or show their colors in some way. I don't know why. Why is the reason for that? The Four of Cups. This is somebody that's in a place that they may just be somewhat unhappy or bored, or yeah, I think you're seeing this person correctly, honestly. I'm not saying if this is romantic, there's not emotions or something like that here. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is that even if this is someone that can help you in your career or something like that, all I'm saying is that this is somebody that may be in a place where they're not satisfied or happy with where they are. And so if somebody's coming towards you in that energy, that's something that you need to look at and say, is there longevity here in this? Is there real true motive and purpose here? Is there real compassion or empathy here? Or is this someone that really believes in me in a way? Or is this somebody that just wants to kind of ride my coattails? That kind of thing. All of these are valid in the cards, your feelings. And it's saying, but don't let those get the better of you either. Because I feel like if you kind of speak your truth, your concerns, issues that you have with this, needing to ask for maybe a contract or plan or something like that, you'll be able to tell through this person's actions what their intentions are. They're not going to be able to kind of keep that from you. It's going to be very present. Any other advice that you can give? Yeah, the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is walking away from something emotionally. So basically what this is saying is you'll know when, like, basically walk away from this before you get emotionally too tied up in something. Because I don't know, if this is someone from your past, they really have a way of rubbing you the wrong way, or they know how to work you emotionally in some way. So I'd just be careful of that. If this is someone that feels like you feel like they're so far above you, well, that's automatically giving that person some kind of control there. So just be careful of that. You have to learn when to walk away from things that aren't good for you. That kind of thing. Yeah, you have the Lovers here. You have the Lovers here and the Devil right on top. No, this is the Two of Cups. This is Two of Cups, Two of Cups. Never mind. We did see the Lovers though, didn't we? So this is that contract or that partnership. And this is what I already expressed. Make sure that you're really guarding or protecting yourself in what you need from this partnership or this relationship. And then you have to kind of watch. You know, you have to put what you want or what you need out there, and then you have to kind of watch what they're willing to give or do, and that's going to tell you everything you need to hear. You have the Five of Cups. And that may end up being kind of disappointing. I'm not going to lie, that Five of Cups. This also feels like somebody that's reacting to their own emotions in some way, or something that they have regrets, or they have fears or worries, or something that didn't work out. It's like they have something going on here. And this whole thing towards you is some kind of reaction from what's going on with them. There's more to it than just meets the eye, is what I'm saying. Yeah, the Five of Wands. There's some kind of drama, conflict, something that they're going through. What does that have to do with? The Three of Pentacles in reverse. Some kind of, something didn't work out for this person the way that they intended for it to. I don't know what it is. They're going through something, some kind of drama with somebody, though. This could be at work with the Three of Pentacles being in reverse. Something didn't work out the way that they wanted to. This could be a relationship even. So that's why they're coming towards you in the way that they are. You know, that's their motive, or that's where that's coming from. If this is someone that's romantically involved with pile 3, can you tell me about that? Like, what do they need to know about that in this person? Let's do a different deck. Let's ask that again. If this is somebody romantically involved with pile 3, what do they need to really know about that person? Divine timing. There's something to do with divine timing here. Timing being a big part of this, and proposal. Maybe this person's trying to buy time, or wedding. This person may ask you to wait for them. If this isn't love, then this is somebody that's asking you to kind of wait to sign a contract or commit to them, or something like that. You know, something like that is there. So whether this is love or work, you know, this is about something to do with that. You have roll the dice at the bottom. Yeah, they're asking you to take a risk. This is somebody this could be somebody that just doesn't want to see you with anybody else either, but they're asking you to take some kind of a risk and wait until they can offer you something solid. Or if this is work, this is the same scenario. It just has to do with the contract. You have a Queen of Wands at the bottom. So this is somebody in the Lovers. There's the Lovers. King of Swords in the reverse. The Seven of Pentacles and the Three of Swords in reverse. For some of you, this person's involved with somebody else. That's obviously not everybody's story, but if this is love, for some of you, this person, you already be aware of it, may be involved elsewhere in some way, and they're not being honest about that. For others of you, if this is work or whatever, yeah, this is somebody that's asking to buy time until they can get past something here. But for others of you, if this is love and that's not the case, then this is just someone that's wanting to put in some time. This is wanting you to be patient, and they want to be patient here. But they're not being fully honest about why that is. And seeing you as their choice. You know what I mean? There's stuff there that they're not expressing. This is a work thing, then this is about you knowing when something is in alignment with you, and when you feel like that you need to kind of be on guard, or you're not sure about a situation, and just putting out there like, okay, I may be unsure about this situation, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest somewhat. I'm going to wait and see how that goes and play it by ear. And if it works out, it does. If it doesn't, if I see something that it's not fitting right with me, then I'll move on to something else, you know. And I think that that's like the resolution of what you get to with this Two of Pentacles. And that could be in this relationship here as well. Patience is such a valuable thing, and especially when it comes to relationships and how you feel about somebody, how much patience you have with that person. And it's a hard thing, because it involves somewhat involves selflessness. You know, it just involves believing in the other person, trusting the other person, you know, and you got to know when you need to have it and when you don't. When you can give up on stuff and when you should be patient, you know. But you can definitely tell by somebody else. I've asked many times other people I've been in relationships with, can you just give me some time? Time says so much about somebody and how much willingness they are to put in the work or effort into something. And you can tell pretty quickly, you know, if somebody's willing to, if you know, feeling like you're worth it to wait and put that time in. Yeah. Okay, let's get a postcard from Spirit. I'm sorry, guys. My son just came in here. And he was wanting some things. And then, anyway, had all kinds of conversation. Okay, so pile 3. What postcard do we leave them with for advice for pile? There's 2 here. I don't want to read 2, though. I just want 1. Well, I mean, there was 2 scenarios there, though. Let's see what comes out again. Give me just 1, please. Okay. This is one of the ones that already came out. With love. Okay, here we go. Dearest you, did you know that when you stop fighting and accept everything exactly as it is right now, that miracles start to happen? There is a freedom in this kind of radical acceptance. Let go of unrealistic expectations. I want to say something real quick because I was going to bring it back to this card and I haven't. And what I was going to say was, if this has to do with love, and this is the card that you chose in order to tie it to this reading, I feel like it's the advice here would be, it says striving and pushing makes life into endless hard work. Sometimes there's even relationships that you have to understand. You can only, with that 6 of Pentacles in reverse, put in your part. You know, you can't put in your part plus their part and expect things to survive and work, because it backfires real bad. You know, this is about you putting in as much as you can. And in relationships, sometimes we have to figure that out. You know, we can't just keep on just overloading, putting ourselves out there and out there and out there. We have to make sure that it is a balanced place for us to be. I mean, that's how you can enjoy yourself. Otherwise, it's just like, what's the point? You know? Let go of the unrealistic expectations and see things as they really are, not how you would like them to be. You'll be surprised at how everything seems to fall into place. When you refuse to accept things, life gets messy. You act messy and your world stays in chaos, tension, and disarray. But don't try to force a change or manipulate the circumstances. Instead, learn about what is in front of you and face it with your eyes fully open. Then you can decide, stay or go, sink or swim, move or stay still. Acceptance is the key to freedom and opens the door to the real opportunities waiting to be discovered. Set yourself and others free. Loving you so much, always and forever. This really fits with your reading, because this really right here too. Then you can decide, you know, face what's in front of you first, fully open to it and understanding it, and not getting your emotions really tied up too much in it, but understanding the situation, where it's at and what it brings to you. And then decide, you know, should I stay here? Should I go? Should I sink or swim? You know, should I move? Should I stand still? What should I do? Yeah, because this is all about, if you're not here yet, I think you will be soon in a place to where you're having to make a decision, okay? Yeah, because you got a proposal here coming towards you. Somebody's taking a risk on you or wanting to take a risk on you. Oop. We have a D that just fell on the floor. Some of y'all, this might have to do with whether or not you want to get a divorce. That's not obviously everybody's story, but that's something that just came up, okay? You do have the Knight of Pentacles here, so taking things slow is definitely part of this, but someone being very slow as well. You have the Sword of Truth here. This is also an honest conversation that's here. So be truthful and honest about, again, where you are, what you need, as far as actions, communication goes. You have the number 9 or 6. Could be relevant. The 9th or the 6th could be relevant. You have SD, C-K-E-N, an M, or a W. You can almost spell scream. It makes me want to scream. Almost snake too. Yeah. Some of y'all, everybody's going to be different here. If this is love, some of y'all are going to be like, nope, that's the devil. That showed up as the devil. It is the devil. No. And then some of you are going to be in a different kind of energy. And like, this is a general reading. So please take it how it fits for you. Just know that like this is the message that's coming through. And this is about like where you're at or where you need to be. And some of you may feel one way and then later realize that when you're actually, like this card says, faced with it dead on, you may start to have other feelings come in that you weren't anticipating. So just be prepared and kind of keep that in mind. I just saw smoke when I looked in the bowl, even though you don't have any of those letters hardly. Well, yeah, you do. Anyway, I was thinking, you know, this seeing through the smoke is just as dangerous as the fire. You know what I mean? Like, okay, anyway. I don't know exactly what I mean by that, but I do know, but I don't know how to explain it. So hopefully that made sense. All right, pile 3. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all your love and support and kindness, of course. I really hope this helps. Good luck to you guys, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.